Alrighty. Hey guys, I am back. I have been so thrilled about this getting ready for the New Year conference, and I want to just come on and talk with you guys about grit and how we can get ready for the new year. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to now share my screen, and I will talk with you guys about thriving through the new year and how we can make sure that we are gritty no matter what. For those that you might not know me, you might not know the work that I have had the honor to do. My name is Dr. G.R.I.T. I love grit. I love everything about grit, and I love helping others to thrive through grit. And so with that said, I do want to start with my presentation. And in this presentation, we're going to be talking about how we can thrive through grit in 2026. And so with that said, I'm going to first introduce myself and let you guys know who I am, a little bit about what I do. Again, my name is Dr. India White. And I've been a TEDx speaker. I've been an educator. I'm sorry, I'm just doing a lot of different things, all the different live streams and things like that. So I'm checking out all the technology. Okay. And so I do have some speakers that are also coming into the stage in the back. So I'm excited about that. And I will bring them on. So I've had the opportunity to be a national consultant. I've had the opportunity to go into the math spaces as an educator and so much more stuff. And we've had a great time. And so with that said, I am going to now get started and really go into my presentation for you guys. So the first thing I want to talk about with you guys is women in burnout. And so I'm sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get this other stream going. I've got some things taking place here with these streams. Okay, so with women in burnout, we found that women, they have significantly higher rates of burnout than men, especially data showing that there's 55% of women that are reporting burnout. Also, we found that 60% of senior women are feeling frequently burnout, the highest in 5 years, and it's controlled by factors like gender bias, unequal care giving loads, lack of support, and leading many women to consider leaving the workforce. Okay, so there's a lot going on there, and so we'll continue moving forward. So 4 reasons why we need grit. Here are some 4 reasons that are here before you guys. And I want you to see that and know that we've got to do something to solve this problem. We've got to help women. We've got to help all over to see what we can do different. So, sorry, guys, I'm literally doing another, trying to help you guys. All right. So, again, my name is Dr. India White. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this, and I've already talked to you guys about some of the work that I've done as an educator, and I went into how women have this burnout. And the thing I want to really focus on is the lack of support and how we need to really strengthen that for women, and why we need to now go through these different reasons why women need grit. I'm excited because I have speakers that are coming on. Let's see if I can add her to the stage. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to continue presenting as I've just added one of our speakers to the stage. So 4 reasons why women need grit. We have to be able to navigate through challenges with strength. We also have to lead with confidence and clarity. Women need to be able to sustain growth without burnout. And we also need to be able to turn vision into results. Grit bridges the gap between goals and outcomes by combining persistence, discipline, and purposeful action for women. And through that effective time management, it helps us to stay focused, balanced, and committed to long-term success. And I don't know about you, but I think that many of us are really striving for that in these days. Now, what is grit? Grit is great resilience in time. That is an acronym that I came up with on the TEDx stage. It is a main factor that is needed for success of leaders, of women, of students, of teachers. We have found in our research, I found it at the University of Florida, Dr. Angela Duckworth found it in her research, that grit is it. Grit is a key to success for all of us. And you have to see grit as a trait. It's like a muscle, and it's something that everybody has. You just have to learn how to cultivate it. And we'll be talking today about how to cultivate grit so that we can thrive into 2026. So grit is it. We found that grit supported leaders during moments of discouragement. It also led to other factors in the grit levels of each leader, whether that was like a mentor, having a sense of belonging, needing some type of organizational talent, or needing some type of wealth accommodations. No matter what it was that you coupled grit with, it really took that person to the next level and it helped them thrive. And so grit it's like a glue that keeps all of the great elements together in somebody's life when they're really trying to be successful. It's the glue that holds the organization together. And this is why we need it today. So with that said, I do want to give you guys a moment to measure your grit levels and go ahead and take the grit assessment. So you'll have here the grit assessment. I'm sharing my screen so that you can go ahead and start taking the grit assessment. So I'll give you guys about 3 minutes or so to take that and then share out like how you feel. So go ahead and scan that. Go ahead and scan the grit assessment, and then we will share out. As you're taking the grit assessment, whenever you get down to the end of the grit assessment, I want you guys to be able to tell what was your weakness when it came down to grit, and how you want to build your weakness. And then, of course, what were your strengths? So as you scan the QR code and you're doing the grit assessment, I want you to, again, be able to tell where were your weaknesses, and then tell what would you do different to strengthen that weakness. And not only that, what are your strengths of the grit assessment? So take a moment now and scan that. And I am removing my banner so that you guys will be able to see that. All right. And I will add my speakers to the stage. Welcome, welcome.
Well, hello. India.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? It's so awesome.
Yes, welcome. I can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah, you are fantastic at speaking. It's so amazing that you're helping so many people.
Oh, thank you. You know, we all need to be gritty, and I can't wait to hear from you, rock stars, as well. Hey, Francis, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Live from Sydney, Australia. It's not even 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. So good morning.
Thank you so
and it's
much.
rainy.
You are such a trooper. Oh my goodness, it's an honor to have you. My goodness. So yeah, so we are taking the grit assessment. If you guys have scanned the QR code, feel free to scan it, take it for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to chime in about maybe, you know, how that made you guys feel as well. That's fine. I just want the audience to be able to, you know, explore the grit assessment and to know that this is a tool that will help them for 2026 as they're planning on thriving in 2026. So I'm giving you guys a minute.
And you know what it is? It is all about how we're going to thrive in 2026 and get gritty, right? And be very resilient.
That's right. I'm loving it. So in about a minute or so, if you guys have scanned it, let me know if you guys have scanned it, even you speakers here, and then we'll go over our results. I can tell you where I was weak at, whenever I did the grit assessment. Whenever I took the grit assessment, I scored low. I scored high in growth mindset, which I was like, okay, yay, right? But I actually scored low in time management, and I scored low in self-efficacy. And for me, I scored low in the self-efficacy piece because of different things that I had to endure, traumatic things that were still kind of lodged in my mind when it came down to my ability to be great, my ability to thrive and do things. And so I found that was very interesting that, different seeds that were planted by those that claimed they love me were affecting my ability to be a leader and to be successful. And I found that I had to go through the counseling that I needed and the therapy to get rid of some of those things that were lodged in there. There's nothing wrong with being human and having those moments. But I will encourage each and every one of you guys to know that you are worthy. You do have value, and you do belong at the table. You deserve the seat at the table. See, for me, I didn't think that I deserved the seat at the table because so many people told me that I didn't belong, or I was a token, or I just wasn't competent, wasn't fit, and I had to unravel through those things and clear it out and know that I did belong at those tables. And so for those leaders out there, I want you all to know that you do belong as well. And you are in that position, you are in that seat, you are the leader for whatever your business is, your corporation, whatever, because you deserve it and you have what it takes to execute it. So any of you guys want to chime out about what you think about the assessment or what you think about grit so far?
Well, I've just literally just done it. So I scored definitely low in time management. I think for me personally, like I can get distracted because I'm always like doing so many things at like once. And then I'm like, no, I need to focus on one thing. If I have like a list, then can tick it off and all that sort of stuff. And I think, everybody's different, but that personally like works for me, have a list and then be like, okay, otherwise I'm going to forget anyway. And then I'm like, oh, what do I need to do? And yeah, so I definitely scored low in that. And then I think with time management, like if I know what I'm doing and if it's done in advance, then I'm good. But otherwise, like I can do well under pressure, but I'm also like, oh, I need to get done like right now.
I think, yeah. That was awesome. I think it's really important to figure out like where you stand and where you can work on things in life, and then sort of like working out a plan to get there. I love this grit assessment. It's awesome, India. It's so great. It looks like I got a pretty high score. I work on myself all the time. One area that I can really work on is overbooking myself. So that falls into time management, I think. I think that's time management for sure. I hold myself very accountable, and I love helping people. And so my day is usually jam-packed from morning until evening. So that is an area that I find that I struggle with on a weekly basis, is scheduling in me time. I like to call it soul health time. So I call it soul health time, girl. Soul health. You gotta take time for yourself to take your little namaste moments,
Excellent. I love that. And thanks so much for sharing with us, Miriam. And we can't wait to hear you speak in a little bit. I'm going to continue going now, guys, with this. With our fabulous presentation on grit. Thank you for taking that assessment and sharing out. First things first, we need goal setting. We have to make sure we're having those positive affirmations. We have to look into vision boards, and we have to also have intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. We'll be talking about vision boards later on today. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation is key because you have to know what your why is, and that usually is going to be fueled by what you're believing on the inside. And then extrinsically, how are you going to celebrate? Is that going to be a cruise? Is that going to be a mango smoothie? Is that going to be a trip to the mall? Is it going to be just some type of reflection and celebration among loved ones? What is that going to be? So I want us to really keep that in mind for 2026 as we're really trying to cultivate grit. You got to keep it going. Every one of us have it, but we have to know how to keep that going. So how do we then put grit in action for all of our leaders? Let's talk about it. So first things first is the grit framework. Okay. The 4 pillars of that grit framework, of course, as we just spoke about, are growth mindset, resilience, self-efficacy, and time management. That QR code is for a workbook. That's actually a discounted rate for you guys that are on this live stream today, for our leaders, and for those that are going to be watching the recording later on. You will see it there for you. This is a grit workbook for leaders, and this has the actual workbook in 6 weeks. It's about 6 to 8 weeks worth of different activities that you can do and how you can reflect on the grit workbook and really kind of take this in. So I provided that for you guys because it's key if you're really trying to cultivate grit and keep grit going for 2026. This is a year for us to shut off the mess and to go into this to thrive. Really don't apologize for it. You're going into this to thrive. Okay. Next, grit pillars for success. Here's some pillars. When you're talking about growth mindset, resilience, self-efficacy, and time management, you're going to have, as leaders, we have to definitely boldly affirm that greatness is already within us. Okay. You also have to have the courage to persevere through adversity. Okay. We rise and adapt as we press forward, no matter the challenge, because we know that quitting is not an option. Okay. Again, quitting is not an option. The next thing that we want to look at is that self-efficacy or that inner confidence, because true leadership, it begins from within. Okay. So as we're planting those seeds, listen, y'all, of self-belief, affirming our worth and trusting our abilities, we strengthen our inner confidence. If we believe in ourselves, and that gives us the permission to do the same and also to strengthen others. Okay. It's hard to fill the glass if we don't believe in ourselves, we don't believe in others. If you guys want to comment on that, feel free to comment and share out. So I will let you guys share out, either Francis or Miriam, if you guys want to share out what you think about the grit pillars.
Oh, I think Francis is gone. I love the grit pillars. Girl, this growth mindset, resilience, inner confidence, and time management. I mean, it's really true because you have to actually really be centered in who you are and that's what I'm going to go into talking about later, because if we don't know where we're driving our ship, if we don't know where we're driving our ship and where we're going, then we are not going to get anywhere. We're just not going to get anywhere. So the fact that we have to like really decide how are we going to manage our time and where are we going? Like, where's our goal? Totally agree with you. So the grit pillars are fantastic, India.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Miriam. And Francis, feel free to share out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I totally agree with both of you. And lately, I don't know if you've seen Oprah came to Australia, but I went to see Oprah.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
Oprah came to Australia.
Yeah. She hasn't been back in about 10 years. But her conversation was really about this, and really about how if you have people in your circle, and if they make you go, like, you question yourself. She said, get rid of them. She said, your circle is so important. And she said, even though she's famous and everything, but she had people around her who would make her question herself. And she said, once you have those people around you, she said, no, they're not good for you. She said, it doesn't even matter if they're family, your best friend, whoever. If you don't have that circle that's supporting you, then you wouldn't be able to do like these grit pillars, because you question yourself. So
exactly. And thank you for sharing out, ladies. And so with that, I also want to remind you guys of the time management. I think that is the one thing that has been missing in many people's lives, is that time management and that accountability of holding ourselves accountable. And so with that said, time management, it talks about how purpose-driven leaders, they understand the value of time. We have to hold ourselves accountable and remain focused on our vision and steward each moment wisely, because success is intentional, and it starts with how we manage our time, our priorities, and our commitments. So now, how do you harness grit in women and in leaders? First, you lead with that growth mindset. So an action tip here can be replacing your I can't with I'm learning how. Okay, choosing to document one leadership lesson that you've gained from every challenge that you face. Okay, another thing you want to do is you want to strengthen your resilience through adversity. Okay, so resilient leaders, they don't avoid hardship, they rise through it. Another thing is to build that inner confidence intentionally. Okay, growth in that confidence, it happens whenever you affirm your voice, you honor your achievements, and listen, silence self-doubt. I think that is huge, because so many times we're like, oh, I just don't know if I've got what it takes. I don't know if this is gonna, I want to launch this, and you're like sitting on this for like 2 years. You need to just go ahead and launch it, right? You need to go ahead and do it, and watch it grow. Okay. I'll never forget the first book I wrote, and you guys know I've written quite a few books. I've now written 70 published works, and that's beyond the math textbooks, self-published books, 70 works. But the first book, I doubted myself so much. I actually have the book on my shelf. I would turn around and look. Here, I have it. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's called How to Overcome Obstacles from Your Past. This is the very, very, very first book that I wrote. I wrote this book in 2011. I remember because I was pregnant with my son, and I was like, I need to get the book done before I give birth. But I doubted myself. I doubted that I could do it. And the book was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to get out there. And I want to encourage each of you to thrive, force yourself, soar, do it afraid, as they say, do it anyway. Stop doubting yourself. You never know who needs your talent, who needs your voice, and who needs what you have to offer in this world. So with that said, I want to also talk about mastering time management with purpose, and also surrounding yourself, like Oprah said, with grit-focused support, because nobody thrives alone, right? Making sure that you're setting those clear goals as you're meeting those deadlines, and you're doing the great things that you need to do. And then, of course, I want you guys to take with you also different strategies to cultivate these grit. I want you to focus on the one that says building self-efficacy through affirmations and action. If anything, if I can leave you with anything, I think that's going to be the theme about how we thrive, is you have to do it through affirmations and action. Every day, what is your affirmation? And what is the action step? What is your grit move? What are you going to do to really thrive and to make this thing happen? I know I'm running low on time, so I'm so happy as we're getting ready to wrap up. So again, I want us to thrive, and I wanted to come up with an acronym for all of us. So for T, it'll be time stewardship. H, hope-fueled growth. Adopt your growth mindset and have it rooted in belief and possibility. Give yourself a chance. Put the past to the side. Give yourself a fresh chance in 2026. Okay? Have resilient leadership. R. Okay? Persevere through those challenges with strength and grit. I. Inner confidence. Leading your voice and your abilities. V. Having that vision-driven action. Okay? What does that look like? Aligning your daily actions with long-term goals. And then E. Having empowered, powerful, guys, execution. Taking consistent action using the GRIT framework. Okay? So let's thrive into 2026. And with that said, feel free to scan that. That is a code to my GRIT master course. It has over 14 different lessons in the entire course. And each lesson really goes through grit, what it looks like, how it makes sense. And after you take that course, you will never, ever again question what grit is, what it looks like in your life, and how to really make it pliable and tangible so that you can thrive. So thank you for letting me share. I hope you guys are able to scan that code for that Grit Master course. And then I would love to keep in touch with you guys. So I'm going to leave you here with the survey. where you could fill this out. You could scan that survey, and you have my information there for you. You have my website, india.white.123@gmail.com. And you have, or excuse me, that's my email, india.white.123@gmail.com. And my website, india-white.com. And then, of course, my Instagram information. Feel free to scan that. You can leave me your information so that we can see how we can service you in 2026. So thank you so much. That's all I have for you guys. To our other amazing speakers. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining. And any last comments before we switch it over to our next speaker?
Well, I just wanted to say, India, that was such an amazing presentation. I am like crawling under my desk right now, having to go after you, girl. That was fantastic. I love the presentation, and that course is so wonderful. It's really great that you're helping so many people. It's really, really awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope that all of us can continue to thrive in 2026. And, you know, I just thank you ladies for being a part of this fabulous conference. So now, guys, I want to introduce you another amazing life coach, speaker, and entrepreneur doing so many different things, helping people in her strengths and in her own right. And with that said, I'm going to get out of your way and give the floor to Miriam Putnam. Welcome, Miriam. Please introduce us to yourself. And if you need to share the screen, let us know and we will get the screen to you.
Okay, thank you so much, India. Before I continue and talk about myself, let me just really, all of you guys listening and that did her analysis and the grit assessment, and she gave you access to the course online. Seriously, awesome job. It was really, really great.
Thank you. Thank
really
you. Thank
awesome.
you. I'm excited. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
It's so wonderful. And I really, truly appreciate you from my heart to your heart for inviting me on today to share my story and talk about what is so important to me and how much I love to help others. And I just feel very blessed that you and I reunited at the end of 2025 to do this together. So truly, India,
Yes.
Appreciate you, girl. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you.
I know we're other people are clapping out there, and women are rooting for you and cheering you on right now. I can't hear them because we're on the StreamYard link, but I know it's happening. And India, you are a force to be reckoned with, and the world is truly blessed to have you working for the good.
Oh, thank you. It's a high honor to have you.
Oh.
And so I want you now, Miriam, you're such a rock star. I want you to share with us, you know, what you're bringing to the space of how can you help us with grit as we're getting ready for the new year. And if you have a presentation that you would like to share, let me know and I'll give you sharing rights. Or if you want to talk from your heart, whatever you want to do, it's all yours.
I'll probably be talking from my heart today. Okay. And I wish that I had brought a whole presentation. I can share my website.
Sure. Yeah.
If anybody wants to see that. But just quickly before I start, my name is Miriam Putnam. I'm a certified wellness coach, and I have been a mental health advocate for about 25 years. And so I am very good at helping people figure out and debug maybe they're having a mental health blip. Maybe they've always been wondering about mental health. Maybe they've gotten bad information from doctors, anything like that. So as far as the grit and resilience that's necessary for a woman or just an individual to have and know their strength for what they need to do to go forward is kind of where I fit in. And then my presentation today is on how I went from stress into soul freedom. And so it's a story of grit and resilience. All right, is it fine for me to continue? I guess maybe it is. All right, so what parts of me am I bringing into 2026, and who am I finally ready to become? So all of you out there that are listening, that's really what this is about, is focusing on that. Like, who are you really, and where are you going? We are at the end of 2025, and we're going into 2026. And so it is up to you to decide, where are you going? So let me ask you something. And I won't be able to see you raise your hand, or I won't be able to see you nod right now, but inside your heart, you can answer yes to this. If you've ever lived in survival mode, this is when you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and your soul is whispering for help. Has that ever happened to you? Truly, has it really ever happened to you where you're like, how am I going to do this? I don't know if you're praying, or you're reaching out to God, or you have a very close friend that you're reaching out to, but all of us are pretty united in the fact that, I know I see you nodding into it, right? We're pretty united in the fact that like we've lived through some intense survival moments, right?
Right.
And it's awesome that you made it to the other side and that I made it to the other side, but it's our responsibility to pull as many people with us that we can and say, girl, guy, like you can do this, and you got the grit and you got the resilience, and we can do this together. We're stronger together, right? All right. Well, I just wanted to tell you, not like you need to hear me say it, but India, you are not alone. And all of your group out there that are listening, you are not alone. And listen, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Any decision that you make today, you can make a plan and you can decide how to get through it and get to the other side. You are a human who has been surviving with the tools that you had at that point in time. And so it's very important that we all can say, hey, listen, that was yesterday, or that was last year, or that was last month. I was at that place in my life, but now moving forward, I know what I need to know today in order to move forward. And you know what? Based on that experience, I now have the grit and I have the ability to make a decision on what it's going to take to be resilient to make it through this. So it's time to shift from survival mode into soul freedom. It is time for us to do that. Truly, it really is. And you know, survival mode, I really do understand it intimately. I've had some intense experiences with survival mode. And so not as a concept, but as a way of life. So here's the beautiful truth, and you're going to love this, India. Grit gets you through. Resilience lifts you up. But right? You know, I mean, it's true, right, girl? But
it's true.
Each individual, we decide where we're going to go next. So each individual is making that decision. We're all making decisions every single second of every single day.
Right.
And that's why we're all here today, because we're trying to end this year and say, okay, so we are going to put the correct foot forward in 2026. We're going to learn the lessons that we had to learn in 2025. And we're not going to make the same mistakes. We're going to turn over a new leaf and we're going to go boom in 2026 because we got the grit and we got resilience. So we're going to do this.
I love it.
We're not going to let 2026 happen to you. We are going to happen to 2026.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
We are going to happen to 2026. Wow.
That's right, girl. We are going to happen.
That's amazing. Wow.
We got to. We are the driving forces. So 2026 is going to be created by you. It's going to be created by me. It's going to be created by each and every single person that's listening today. This is the year that we all are taking the wheel and we're driving our life exactly where we desire.
Right.
Exactly. You know, because if we're not driving it, who's driving, India?
I know it.
Yeah.
It's just your wheels are spinning, right?
Right. Yeah, we like driving the car in circles.
Right.
That's kind of what survival mode feels like sometimes. It's like,
yeah. And many of us went through survival mode this year. A lot of unexpected cuts, losses, things that, you know, were beyond us. And I feel like it did put a lot of people in survival mode. I was saying earlier how I know in the African-American community, like 300,000 plus women lost their jobs, you know, and they're in survival mode, trying to figure out how do they bounce back? How do they get out of that? How do they, you know, thrive in 2026? So what you're saying is key. We need this because many of them are in survival mode. Yeah.
Well, it is unbelievable that so many women in the state of Florida are going through that right now.
It's tough.
Do you know if any other states are going through that?
I think that was nationwide.
That statistic is nationwide. It's not just Florida.
Yeah, not just Florida. It's throughout. Yeah, many.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
many. So it's it's just one of those things. They've got to be gritty and figure out how can they reinvent themselves, how can they rebrand themselves, how do they find their people, right?
Yeah.
The people that do celebrate them, the people that their faces do light up in the room whenever they show up, they have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
very true. Yeah. Reinventing oneself is definitely not an easy survival journey to go through by any means. I don't know, Frances, if you have anything to pipe in, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, it's definitely been a long year for me personally. But I think everybody literally is going through the same thing. But lately, I don't know if you guys seen on the news, we have had, it's been 1 week now, and well, tomorrow's 1 week, but we had the Bondi Beach mass shooting. So if you don't know, shooting it's not a thing in Australia. So we haven't had a shooting since the 1960s, which killed 35 people. Yeah.
Wow.
So this time, it's a public area. It did target a lot of people who have migrated from Australia. The youngest was 10, the oldest was 35. So, our community down here, doesn't matter if you live far away or, if a lot of Australians do live in the States now as well. So, everybody's just completely devastated because we lost 15 people and we've still got more injured in hospital. So, it's just been a long week. And, so all these people now, obviously it's coming up to Christmas. So they're, in a stage where they just have to keep going. And obviously if anybody, if you've lost anyone, you know what that feels like. And you know how, so yeah. So I think it's just, no matter what happens in your life, you just have to keep going, and I totally understand about losing a job. I've had that during COVID, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, we found a new way. Now I'm connected to you beautiful people. So yes, but that's how we go. So we're ready to get gritty.
That's right.
Ready to get gritty. Yeah. I mean, it is times of like intense strife and struggle and survival mode, and watching people that we love go through just horrendous things where we have to try our best to remember what there is to be grateful for in order to keep marching forward.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Frances, I cannot believe there hasn't been a shooting in Australia in that long.
Yes. We're all, there's no words to even describe it. I think for us, everybody's pretty upset, pretty angry. And they've got a lot of high security. But we're even though we're a big country, you could fit the whole world inside Australia. We are a small country in the same, like no one lives in the middle. It's just around the coastlines and everything. So yeah, it's been a big week for the country. But we're just got to keep going, and and they're holding more vigils and everything, of course, and still trying to identify people. But yeah, it's been a long week.
Wow. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. And there are no guns allowed in Australia, right?
So back in the 60s, they had firearms for hunting and things like that. And obviously this is way before I was born and stuff, but my dad had told me the story. So basically in Tasmania, that little tiny island underneath the big continent is basically still part of Australia, but they had incident there. And so the government made a decision to ask people to hand over the firearms, which people were happy to do. And that basically meant, we don't have any gun issues. And then obviously fast forwarding to today, things have changed, migration, the whole 9 yards, so it was unfortunate that this had happened we're not going to get political right now, but it was just like certain, there's good and bad in every culture and religion. Let's start there, right? And, every community, but unfortunately, the people that did this, one was actually born here and one wasn't. They were a father and son team that did this. And so, it basically just put a whole nother level on what we are as a country. And, we're all about bringing people together, solidarity. You know, you see people now, they've got different friends of different cultures and whatnot. And that's pretty much how the country has been, always about multiculturalism and equality and stuff. But obviously that changed about a week ago. So we're still trying to figure it all out. But yeah, so yeah, people then I went down to Bondi yesterday to put flowers and stuff. But yeah, it's something we just can't understand what's going on in the world.
Right.
And the whole world's crazy in general.
Yeah. What is happening? Like, what is this about? Like, we cannot be divided and blame and hate, and it's just terrible. Right. We have to like actually come together. And what happened to love thy neighbor and stick together and respect people's beliefs? And right, girl? I mean, what in the world?
What happened to love thy neighbor? You said a mouthful.
Right? What happened to love thy neighbor?
Wow.
Yeah. We really need to come together
love.
as a community, as countries, every single country, and like, you know, just people. Anyway, even though something terrible happened, I'm sure it's nice to see loved ones and the communities actually giving back and trying to comfort. So obviously there is craziness. Yeah. So I mean, there is craziness, but then then you get to see like people actually doing the right thing. So you know, I guess there's always going to be some bad people, and we're going to have to deal with bad apples, but then we just have to be able to deal with them more quickly going forward, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's been the biggest thing about this week. You know, I think a lot of people have realized that, you know, we are about supporting the, you know, community on Bondi, and as a whole, like we've just seen, you know, things happen. I think they've got the test series, the cricket series in Adelaide. So basically, you know, they did something down there, and everybody's been doing something. I know all the surfers had been out. They did like a whole, you know, circle, just out on the water and everything, just to commemorate all that. So there's been a lot of support from all different, you know, people and everything like that. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So I guess we focus on the good people and what the good people are doing to heal the wounds, right? Heal the wounds. Well, Frances, thank you so much for sharing, and I hope it heals very quickly.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. So I guess it like opens wounds for some, right? And it also obviously gives us an opportunity, even though we're here in America, just to know what's happening in Australia, for like how we can stay aware, and then how we can support, and how to stick together. And unfortunately, there's way too many shootings happening in America. So we have a ways to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, if it's all right with you guys, I'm going to continue.
Yes, go for it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No more sad things.
Okay, so let's talk about you, your body, your mind, your soul. My story only matters because it just shows what's possible. Today, the spotlight is your story. Body health is your foundation of power. So, who out there has ever tried to be strong while running on empty? Like, it's not actually possible, right? Like, you go throughout the day, you haven't had sleep, you forgot to have your protein shake or your cup of coffee or your protein bar, or whatever your healthy habit is for the morning. And then by the time it's early afternoon, you're like, oh, I have got to get some fuel in my body, right? So without sleep and without nourishment, it's pretty difficult, right? And you know, listen, our bodies are not asking us for perfection. It's asking us for a partnership. So in 2026, I challenge you to ensure that your body is nourished, rested, and strengthened. Because when our body is healthy, everything else becomes a little more possible. So there's 3 pillars to body health, and it's sleep, nutrition, exercise. And I know that sometimes it can be tough in survival mode, but remember, you have grit and you got this. You can move into the next phase. Body health is the foundation of mind and soul health. Remember, you got this. You have the grit. Body health is how we sprout into wealth. You know, people will say this sort of thing. Body health is wealth. It's like discussed regularly now. I don't know if anyone has heard that. Pipe in if you have. But so this is the foundation for mind and soul health. Your body is ready to rise with you. So it's our responsibility to try to make our lives or keep our environment in a way, or create our healthy habits so that we can have body health. Anybody want to say something? Go ahead and say something, because I have definitely struggled in this area. Girl, I have really struggled. And let me tell you, it is no joke if you don't get enough sleep, if you don't get enough food, or if you're not at least walking or doing some sort of exercise.
Right. You know, I will attest. So this year I started out the year shedding off a couple of things. This has been a really trying year of when it comes down to just shedding things and trying relationships, trying different things. And I found myself in a situation. I had overcame quite a glitch in life. But as a result of that glitch, that tough situation that I was dealing with, I put on the pounds. I put on so much weight. I was weighing about 200 something pounds. I never thought I would weigh over 200 pounds. Okay.
Like,
I'm not trying to tell myself, but I'm just telling you, this is where I was.
You're like, what am I doing?
I mean, I would just snack and eat and coffee and eat and snack and sugar and whatever to deal with the mess that I was coming out of. But then once I crossed over, I was like, I have all this excess weight. I need to do something about it. So I was able to lose at least 50 pounds. And it was hard work. It was not easy. I'm talking water only, fruits and veggies, eating at a certain amount of times of the day, meal portion control, working out like there was no tomorrow, and staying on it, staying positive. And I would tell myself whenever I would get hungry and my stomach would growl, I would say, well, I'm growling because I am going to be the snack. I am going to be the snack. I am going to be, desirable. Right. And I owe it to myself. And I had to forgive myself for the situation I found myself in. I had to discard the voices of negativity, and I had to want to line up with what my body felt was good for me. And I had to forsake certain things that I absolutely loved. And now that I've lost that weight, now I'm maintaining that, making sure I'm still working out, making sure I'm still eating healthy, making sure I'm falling in love with certain teas that are actually healing your body, right?
Yeah.
But it was tough for me, but it took about 2 months for me to really shed that down and to be consistent. And so when you said that, that's the one thing I thought of, and I had to let go of the mess. I had to detox from the drama and the wrong choices and the mistakes and the regret, detoxing from that. And so that's how I was able to do that.
Amazing. Sounds like you put yourself through a little spiritual purging period there. You're like, okay, that's it. The new decision. That did not work. That chaos is not me. No, thank you. Yes, it can take a lot of work to, like, once we spiral into survival mode and then to reel ourselves back in to say, okay, that's it. Like, how am I going to do this going forward? And that's why I think it's so awesome, India, that you decided to do this at the end of 2025. Like, let's not wait until January, everybody. Let's do it now. Let's say, like, okay, what are we shedding? What are we letting go of?
Yes.
Like, which areas of body health can we improve? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we getting enough nutrition? Like, are we supplementing? Like, are we able to walk or exercise or do our push-ups before bed or whatever the case may be, just like any sort of healthy habit. And once you get them in, it takes a while to set those habits, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it seriously takes a while to set those habits. It can be weeks because then it's like, oh, shoot, man, I ate ice cream again.
And then when you're around people that love you, they want to take you places to give you chocolate cake. They want to take you places.
What is that about? Right.
You know what I mean? And they want to take you to buffets. They want to invite you to the party. So you're like, I'm trying to shed this and you're inviting me. I can't tell you how many meals I said no to. Yeah. I'm talking for 2 months. I said no to a lot of good food. I said no to lasagna. I said no to triple chocolate cake. I said no to people's homemade things. I said no to going to some of my favorite restaurants. I said no to big amounts of steak because I had days where I wasn't eating meat. I said no to strawberry daiquiris, virgin strawberry daiquiris. I said no to so many ice cream.
Yeah, right.
And the thing is,
the list goes on.
Right. And I had to feed my children. So they were still saying yes to everything. And I was still saying no. So it's not like I had to shut the kitchen down. Like the kitchen was still open, you know?
I know.
But I still had to say no. So
Oh no, I hear you. A little wellness hack for everybody out there listening is sugar-free vitamin C. And that works really well for sugar cravings. So nice. And obviously gum. So gum and then chewable vitamin C is kind of the, you know, if you're like really trying to go gritty, you know, and really go for gold and shed some bad decisions of the past and like, okay, that's it. Like it's enough chocolate cake and lasagna and virgin strawberry daiquiris that have about 2,000 calories per drink.
Yes, they do.
You know? They really do. I know, girl, they're so good, but they are so bad for us. Yeah,
they are.
Totally. I know. Yeah, it's not always easy work to live a good life, but you know, a lot of my clients and people I help, I tell them like, listen, it is a good life is gained by good decision after good decision after good decision. Yeah, I mean, it is like learning grittiness and like knowing, like rising above it and saying, I am going to be resilient, like no matter what. And it is so hard sometimes when life knocks us down. It is hard. Really hard, but you got to just call on your angels and you just know that you have the strength within you and you are a powerful spiritual being and you can do anything. And then I think it's possible. It's possible. Beautiful. So before I leave the body health area, just because I've done mental health advocacy for so very long, I just wanted to touch on this topic very briefly, which is about 80 to 90% of mental illnesses are usually found body health conditions in the body, which are either liver toxicity or a digestion issue or an allergy, or I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So I just wanted to drop that mic there and then tell everybody out there that I have a free thing to download, which is Mental Health Wellness Journey, which can take you through like your own educational journey and finding out like all the questions that maybe you've had and you've been wondering. You can also get in touch with me if you have more questions about that, and I'd be very happy to answer them. So this is an area that goes into the category of body health because unfortunately we go to the doctors and we say like, hey, I'm stressed out and I feel this way and I feel anxiety and I have depression. And then doctors unfortunately are writing prescriptions left and right. Gone are the days when a psychiatrist is the one only writing prescriptions. Now we have about 70% of prescriptions coming from medical doctors. So I just wanted to say, just to leave you guys with that bit of a tip, and it's mentalhealthwellnessjourney.com. And so it will hook you up with different nonprofits that give you the education regarding the area of mental health. And then I am a coach and I'm available to answer any questions. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah. Now, can you repeat the name of it again? You said Mental Health Wellness
Mental Health Wellness Journey.com. Mental Health Wellness Journey.com. So that will connect people to a nonprofit called Mind Freedom. Mind Freedom goes over just lots of research and different details on the area of mental health, and also to Citizens Commission on Human Rights, which has a large research program on the dangers regarding psychiatric medication. And since I'm a certified wellness coach, I can talk to people about sort of the effects that those medications can do in the body long term. Like short term, I get it, man. People, sometimes you got to sleep and you just lost somebody in your life and you are going through a rough time. Like, fine, I get emergencies, emergencies happen to all of us, but it's just on the long-term usage and the damage that it can do on the body and the effects on our mind and things like that. So it's something to consider. And obviously everyone has their own individual decision to make. I just wanted to make sure that I, gave that to your listeners as a free gift today.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah, of course. Mentalhealthwellnessjourney.com, mentalhealthwellnessjourney.com. And it's a PDF that downloads, and it has about 6 links, and it's pretty educational. It also connects somebody to a Canadian company called True Health. And that company coaches individuals. If the individual chooses to get off of psychiatric medication, then that company sends vitamins to them, and they have coaches that will, coach the person through the downgrade, right? Because there's a certain methodology, I guess, depending on the person or whatever. So they'll coach the person through that. It's a Canadian company, True Health. Anyway, that link is on the PDF.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So
thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of course. So we have Body Health, which is our foundation, and we hope all of us, I hope for myself, I hope for you, India, and all your powerful core team that is with you in this G.R.I.T movement, that our body health helps us produce our wealth in life, right? We're kind of like planting our seed, and then we're this flower that gets to blossom and grow into this vibration that helps others. And isn't it true, India and Francis, that when we feel better, it's so much easier to help others?
It does. It does.
It
is true.
Oh my gosh. It is so true. I mean, literally on the mornings when I haven't had enough sleep and my son says something to me, I'm like, right.
Yeah. And I want to say something too. 2 things I thought of, because you're talking about mental health and wellness. 2 topics that are trending right now is the topic of fasting. And so fasting from like 3 to 5 days and what that does to the body, and the topic of using marijuana in different forms, liquid marijuana, gummies, but using it with caution, with being wise about the amount of dosage and not becoming an addict. Can you speak to those for us, Miriam, and your thoughts, seeing that you're dealing with mental wellness and things, and how that plays a part?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not, I know it's trending, and I totally get that, but I think that marijuana still is a bit of a crutch, because we're using that to be a Band-Aid, so to speak, and not really a very great Band-Aid for some sort of trauma or loss or conflict or struggle or strife that we have in our life. And so the marijuana usually is something that is, it's sold to us as some sort of integrative or holistic mental health, but it's actually just not, and I mean, who's to say why I wouldn't, or why you wouldn't, or why somebody else wouldn't end up using too much and then becoming addicted?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of, I guess, like you're walking on a slippery slope as far as using any sort of drug or medication, right? I mean,
I've
obviously,
an argument for it though, when it comes down to healing of cancers and pain relief of people that are using it medically, and
medically, right? I mean, so I mean, if somebody is getting a prescription from their doctor, like, I don't have a medical license, right? And so I don't have all the science right in front of me on my computer right now to talk about that. I just know that marijuana has can have a bit of a mind altering effect.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. And then what about fasting?
So I'm not a big faster, but I know I've worked with a lot of people who absolutely swear by it. So I think it can work for certain individuals. So I'm like an extremely big advocate on the fact that we are all individuals. You, India, are a beautiful spiritual being. You, Francis, are a beautiful spiritual being. And both of your bodies are totally different, and they're going to be affected totally different by our genes, by who we are spiritually, by whatever's going on in our lives mentally. And so I think, like, you just have to try different things and figure out what is going to work for your body type. And then, whatever the doctor says. I mean, I advocate for somebody getting with a functional or holistic or integrative doctor, somebody who like knows more about ashwagandha or medicinal things that are more herbal and, you know, like, because we can get a lot of support for our body without adding layers of drugs to it, you know?
It's powerful. Yeah. And it's like, how many do you really need? Go ahead, Francis.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. I was just going to say, I find it so interesting, and I'm glad that you both brought it up, because I have a friend, for example, he does marijuana, right? Weed, or, you know, all that sort of stuff. And, but he is not unwell. Like, for example, I had endometriosis. I have had COVID. I had what's the other one? Bronchitis, like the whole 9 yards in the last maybe 5-6 years. Literally year after year, I had something. This year I had an ear infection, even though that's not as bad as like the rest of it previously. But he has not been sick at all. But he doesn't use marijuana like medically. He just does it for like recreation, have a little bit of a puff and all that sort of stuff. And then when we talk to each other, he's like, girl, how come you're so sick? And I'm like the one that does all this other crazy stuff. Like, he drinks, he does all that. And he's like, oh no, I haven't even been sick. I said, I don't know. What? So, you know, so I think that's really good that you brought that up, where you say that everybody's body is different. Like, for example, I had also been using Herbalife, and that personally, that works for me. Because it is an anti-inflammatory. So I'd been drinking the ALO and everything. But I had another friend who was like, oh, I don't believe in that and everything. And I said, well, it works for me. It might not work for you, but if you want to try it, then you should try it. You know, so I think you're totally right, where people, you know, should try it just to see what works for them. And then another one that I'd been looking at was a friend told me the glucose goddess. So she talks about, she's originally a biochemist from France. And she was saying, if you eat your vegetables, protein, and carbs, like in that order, later on, you're not going to feel as hungry. And that personally had worked for me, because I sometimes now don't even have to eat till like midday, like after I've had like something in the morning and everything, because they said for breakfast, you should have like a savory thing. And then that will, like, you know, keep it in line and all this. So I'd been reading in that, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm just literally trying stuff just to see what it does. So.
Well, there you go. I mean, and I think that that's important, because like whatever I can say what worked for me, but then somebody else, it may not work for them, you know, and I make sure that I'm very sensitive and respectful in what I do in my line of work, because I never want to enforce my viewpoint on somebody else, because we all have to make our own decisions, because something's not going to necessarily work for you if I tell you to do it, you know?
Wow, that's powerful. And I think that as we're trying so many different things, but my question though, Miriam, is this: like, people that are into the supplements, I mean, how much before it's too much, you know? And then I was told that sometimes the supplements and the capsules aren't even getting to your bloodstream on time. So it's like you're just taking in so much other stuff, like the plastic that keeps it in, and all this stuff might not even be good for your body. So I mean, what do you recommend? Like, I know I've heard of moringa, I've heard of ashwagandha, like all these things, but what other things do you have? Like, what other tips do you have for those, especially that are trying to overcome mentally?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I always recommend is to get with a good integrative, holistic, or functional doctor that can do a blood test. Okay. And then you can see actually what is going on with your body. Like, is it your blood is too thick and you need to go do a blood thinner for a while and then supplement with a certain herb, you know, or is it that you have a liver toxicity and you need to do this special diet and purge all the bile from your liver, and the vitamins and supplements are actually hurting your body? Or is it, you know, you have a gut brain digestive issue, and that's actually the reason why you're feeling this sluggishness and fog. So once a person gets a comprehensive blood analysis done, then you can decide, like, okay, so for somebody else might need 1,000 milligrams of vitamin D, but for my body, for whatever reason, I only need 500 IUD, you know, for example. I mean, that's kind of a silly example. I just picked vitamin D because all of us usually need it, and it's and taking a lot of it isn't usually going to hurt somebody. But yeah, so that's why I picked that. I mean, for me, years ago, I went through an intensely crazy experience where I got neurological Lyme's disease, and I was in a couple different hospitals. And what ended up happening to me, which was kind of crazy because I'm such a huge mental health advocate, is that doctors couldn't find what was going on. And so we're thinking that I had a mental illness. And unfortunately, this happens a lot of times with people that have symptoms of health issues going on, and then the doctor can't find out what is going on with the body, and then wants to start giving the person a psychiatric medication. Like, obviously I wasn't going to allow that to happen. And so I went to, finally, once I was well enough to get out of the hospital and go to my doctor, I said, okay, what is it? Like, we have to run some crazy test to find what's going on in my body, because this is nuts. I mean, I was so sick for a little while that I was giving me seizures. And I'm like, what? Well, lo and behold, girl, let me tell you, the reason why that happened is because I was visiting my sister when she was on a bike race, and we were on these boats, like, those big Florida boats that have the big fans in the back, the airboats. Mm-hmm. 2 of those crashed into each other, and I flew out of the boat into the swamp. Could you just die?
Wow.
Literally. And so my leg was cut. Luckily, I didn't die and I survived. But the swamp water got into my body, and this Lyme bug bacteria buried itself in my body and was hiding. And even though I had had antibiotics, it wasn't killing the exact virus that was in my body. I mean, bacteria. It wasn't killing the exact bacteria. So these bacteria and viruses that can be laying dormant or active in our body can start to do all sorts of weird stuff. And then, doctors aren't running the correct tests. And then all of a sudden a person is taking all these medications. I mean, it actually breaks my heart. Like, I hope one day we have a system where somebody can go in and see the doctor, and he's going to run the best blood test ever in order to help the person and say, hey, here's your list of vitamins. Your insurance company is covering it. Everything's going to be fine. We love you. And there's this sort of care-centered approach to wellness and helping someone feel better, where it's like, take walks, make sure you're sleeping, you'll feel better in the next month. Maybe you'll need this medication for a couple weeks, maybe a month, but by then you'll be able to, be feeling okay to live without it. So anyway, I just shared that story just to like draw a sort of a picture on, like, I understand being gritty and like having to like really rise above the survival situation and say, oh no, like I am not going down like that. No. Exactly. Like, there has to, like, so that's why it's so important for somebody to really believe and know that they've got to find their own truth. Sometimes listening to doctors isn't always gonna, open the door to a handling. I know. And it's like crazy that we live in a world like that. Yeah. It really is.
Well, thanks for sharing. And I'm so happy you survived that. Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, right. I know flying out of a boat into a Florida swamp is definitely not the kind of fun story anybody looks forward to.
You home, honey. The Lord would have
took you home. Right? Like, look, there weren't any gators standing like right there in the water.
The Lord would have took you home.
Lord would have taken you home. Yeah, that's it. I'm checked out. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? So, no, I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, do you have any last words for the audience before we might take a little break and then prepare for Francis? Do you have any last minute words, Miriam?
Yeah, I prepared this whole entire long speech. I thought I was going to be speaking for an hour.
Listen.
No, girl. Let me wrap
for it. We have plenty. We have time. We have time. This is your time. So no. Keep going. If there's a part 3, 4, 5, 6, we welcome it. Let's go. I want you to pour yourself out for your audience. This is your moment. Pour yourself out. We need to know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. Fair enough. But I will speak more rapidly. Okay. So next we get into
Rapid.
mind health. So we all have a mind, and I just wanted to tell you, Francis, India, and all your listeners that are part of this gritty movement that you are leading, Dr. India Beautiful White, that we are all in control of our minds. Okay. And that is actually a very empowering thing to realize and to know that your mind, my mind, all of your minds, we are not broken. It's just untrained.
Wow.
So I like to do like this little exercise, because a lot of us think about, or we hear positive mindset. Yes, positive thoughts. And like, yeah, we try to like,
we do.
You're laughing like Francis, right? And so it's basically like you have to train your mind. And so I like to kind of go into illustrating or drawing this picture of how we have this like a bad part of the mind and we have a good part of the mind. And the bad part of the mind is like where anxieties and our fear and our, nervousness and, our self-doubts and all the things that we feel that like, we're like, no, we're going to be gritty and we're going to be resilient and we're going to make it over this. Right. And then we have the analytical part of our mind where we're smiling and we're happy and we're doing well in life and we're creating life, and like where self-trust grows and where we can focus our strength, and then we can, bloom as we're intended to bloom. And so I just wanted to challenge all of us that in 2026, let's make our mindset become our engine. So it is not our enemy, because a lot of times the bad part of the mind has become our enemy. And I wanted to remind you all out there that you got this. Your mind is ready to be your greatest ally. So let's not let it be a weapon. So here's an exercise. And if you want, you can grab a piece of paper, close your eyes, keep your eyes open, whatever you'd like to do. And so imagine that between the bad part of the mind and the good part of the mind is like a muscle. It's kind of like going to the gym and, people like work out their biceps or you get on the leg machine or you do whatever you do. Well, this is a mind exercise. And so obviously it is in quotes that there's a mind muscle. I know that there's actually not a mind muscle, but we want to imagine that there is one so we can strengthen it. We can strengthen our control of our mind so that when fear, anxiety, self-doubt, uncomfortableness, all of these emotions that kind of act as barriers in life and come in, that we have some sort of solution to do. And so what you want to do is remember when you felt so happy in life. Like, when was that? What were you doing? Were you on a bike ride? Were you on a boat ride? Were you with your best friend? Were you on an airplane? Were you on a trip? Were you shopping? Like, what were you doing? What? Tell me, India. Did you
parasailing in Hawaii?
Ooh, I love it. See, and it gives a big smile on your face too, right? Yes. Parasailing in Hawaii. What island?
We were in Honolulu, so in the main island. Oh my God, we had a blast. And I took the kiddos, and I remember we did it twice, 2 different times, but the first time was fabulous because I had so much stress and fear about parasailing and being in the air. Thinking that the string would drop, thinking we'd be eaten by sharks, like so many different things, but then when we were up there, it was like years of stress just fell off of me. I can't describe it. I laughed the entire time. I didn't care what anybody thought. I had the time of my life, and so did the kiddos, and it was so neat to do that, and then just to be able to say, okay, we checked that off of our box. Like, we did it. But also to be able to clarify that, no, we're not going to be eaten up by sharks, and the sharks aren't really hungry for us like that in Hawaii. So, So when you said that's the first thing I went to, is like that moment in the air with my kids, and I'm just laughing like crazy. My kids are like, Mom, really? Like, but we just had a blast parasailing in Hawaii.
I love it. I love it. So can you feel the wind on your face?
Oh, yes. All of that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Can you hear anything?
Everything.
Can you hear anything? Can you hear it? Can you hear, like, what all can you hear?
Oh, yes. I can hear the wind. I can see the balloon. So they dipped us into the water. It was so fun, y'all. Like they dipped us and like get you real wet, and then they lift you back up in the air. Oh my God, I could hear the laughs. I could hear the small talk of my kids. I could see the smiles on their faces. I could hear all of us laughing. And then just, the shrill whenever they were dipping us. And like, it was so awesome. It was so awesome.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. So it's amazing because you like totally, it just came right back to you. And so it's important for us to remember like all our perceptions in that happy memory, all the movement, all our perceptions. And so once we do that, then it becomes real that like, okay, like I can actually change the channel in my mind. Like I can change the channel.
I like that.
Like we have the power to change the channel. Like we do. We have that power, India. And so that is how I get gritty every day, girl. That right there.
So
I just shared a secret with you and your whole entire crew is that we can exercise our mind muscle and we can change the channel because we are the ones in control. We are powerful souls and we got this. And we know that we have the power. And so we're gritty and we can be resilient. So that's what I will, coach somebody until I can get them face to face and in like an actual one-on-one, like in-person session, but over video and then coaching and doing wellness things. It is just getting that in as a healthy habit. Sometimes I will get people to go for a walk and look out at the environment and not look at the phone. Like really, putting your attention on the environment and what makes you happy and just doing something else to be able to get on top of the stress. Because sometimes in life, when we're in survival mode and we're in the stress, that we can't see the way out. It's tough for somebody to say, powerful mindset, right? Because you were talking about what's going on in our country right now. And then Francis, what's going on in Australia, right? It's like, if things can be so stressful that we get trapped in the survival mode. So this just gives a little bit of something somebody can do about it. So the point is that once you think about that positive memory, then it becomes a lot easier to, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, cool. So then it becomes a lot easier to create in the positive part of our mind because then we are not in the bad part of our mind, so to speak.
Right.
We're not in that, the anxiety or the stress or the survival. We're thinking about a time in our life when we were really happy and we're remembering the laughter and when we're remembering the water touching our feet and we're remembering all these things and we can think, okay, can like sort of, realign and then go forward so that then we can make those positive affirmations. Did you say something?
No.
Okay.
You're good.
So then we can make those positive affirmations on where are we going? And then we can use that as a chance to recenter ourselves to go forward into the future. So we can like use that exercise to get gritty and then go forward. You can say like, no, this is not going to bring me down. I'm going to remember how this was really good and I'm going to recreate good things in life and I'm going to get gritty and I'm going to be resilient and I'm going forward. So that is the mind health exercise that I wanted to share. And then overall, I have a lot more to say because I was going to share more about my life, but I'll just wrap it up and just tell you thank you because you are a powerful soul and you are leading a great movement. And I just want to remind all your listeners that they're powerful souls too, and they're perfect and they're going to figure it out. And India, anytime that you want me to come on and help or however I can support, I would love to. But I just wanted to remind everybody that 2026 is your year and you can drive your ship anywhere you want your ship to go because you are the soul and you are in control of that beautiful mind.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Dr. India White, for having me on.
Thank you so much. And, oh my gosh, that was fabulous. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. So if you guys have any questions or whatever, Miriam, how can we reach you after this?
Oh, I should probably just put my website up, huh? So Miriam at We Help Group. So it's Miriam at wehelpgroup.org is my best email address. And then do you want me to share this? And miriamputnam.org is my website. So I can share that if you want, or you can share it. I don't know what you want me to do. But Miriam at wehelpgroup.org is an email address, and I can be reached there. Is she still there? Oh, she's going to let me present. So this is my website, and it explains that I'm a holistic mental health advocate, coach, and speaker. I'm a freedom from stress counselor, and it goes through sort of my life journey and what all I went through to get here, because I definitely did not discover all of this or was born into this, like, you know, all of this that I'm doing now. So I've had the anxiety, I've had the burnout, I've been down and dirty and gone through some very intense things. And this website also goes through stress solutions. All of the links, the free download links, are on here. So mental health wellness journey is there. The wellness checklist is there. 10 steps to better sleep, because this is an area that I really struggle with in my life, is getting sleep down and making sure that it was consistent every night. So on this 10 steps to better sleep, you have a whole entire workbook to kind of choose which things that you would like to try and make it into your sleep routine, just because I know sleep is a really big area if somebody has been struggling in that area. And overall, the wellness checklist is kind of a general one that goes over body, mind, and soul, a little bit of kind of the presentation that I gave today. And then the mental health wellness journey, which is what I talked to you guys about. And then We Help Group is my company where I do spiritual counseling. And yeah, that's it. That's me. So thank you so much for letting me share all that. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation that I gave today.
We have. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Francis, I know you're coming up, right? Are you next in line to present, Francis? Because
maybe she accidentally fell off.
Okay, Francis, can you hear me? Okay, are you?
Yes, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Okay.
I can't see you.
Yeah, I know it's because my TV is on, so I've got to do some stuff. But anyway, how about this, Francis? Are you going to be ready? Is she going to be ready to present, or did she fall off? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll wait for her to come. Okay, she's coming back on.
Hello.
Okay, thanks, Tika. Okay, so I'm gonna get. How about we do like a 5-minute break, while I get my screen situation taken care of, and then we'll be back here to hear from Francis Helena, and I'm gonna introduce you, and we're gonna go from there. Miriam, thank you so much again for joining us. You are fabulous. Thank you for your resources. And I'm looking forward to great work with you in 2026.
Yes, I know. We're going to do some powerful stuff together, girl. I can't wait.
We are.
I know. Okay.
All righty. Well, guys, let's come back. It's 4:00. Perfect. Let's take like a 5